Okay, hello. This is Jamie White with Global Diversity News. I just want to thank you for taking the time out to listen to this, new podcast we have going on. Trying out. Definitely give us feedback. Um, yeah, definitely. Also, to start off, please like, subscribe the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitter at GDN Network. And then also check out our website, globaldiversitynews.com. Now, today I have with me my, partner in crime, if you will, for the Global Diversity News website. He writes a couple of articles each day on the site. Does an amazing job. But today we decided to, come together and partner on this podcast. So, the person I have with me today is Ray Hayes.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Definitely partner in crime. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, yep. So yeah, today what we're gonna do is we're going to discuss a couple of topics, right? Some of the topics may be, well known, well publicized within the media. Other ones may be controversial, etc. We're gonna give our take on the different things that are happening around the globe with a specific towards diversity or in small business. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first topic that I want to talk about, since we were talking about it right before we came on the podcast, is the Fisher v. United States. So for those who don't know, the Fisher v. U.S. Supreme Court case was just decided, and in a 4-3 verdict, Abigail Fisher. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't the U.S. It was the Fisher v. University of Texas. There it is, Supreme Court case. For those who are unaware, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of University of Texas for affirmative action. So essentially what that means is that the University of Texas is allowed to admit students based off of a number of qualifications, which include not only grade, standardized test scores, but also ethnicity. So to begin, Ray, what are your overall thoughts on that? And then I'll give you feedback, or not feedback, but I'll tell you my opinion as well, because I know you've been doing a lot of research on it.
Well,
for the past couple of days.
This is the thing. The Supreme Court was right in their ruling. I mean, obviously they're right because they chose to.
The Supreme Court isn't always right.
I mean, they are not always right, but in this case, they definitely would pinpoint right about this. In regards to the case, Abigail Fisher, she was a somewhat of above average student. She had a 3.5 GPA.
Yep, coming out of high
school, which is fairly good.
Yep.
But I mean, as you know, at the University of Texas, they have the top 10 program.
Yep.
I don't know if a lot of people know the top 10 program. University of Texas automatically admits students who graduated the top 10% of their class.
Yep. And in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas.
During that year, they claimed 92% of those students who came in were supposed to come in with Abigail Fisher. 92% were admitted through the top 10 program.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 92%.
So she essentially had an 8% chance.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was just like she didn't meet that requirement because she wasn't in the top 10%. So, like you said, she had 8% chance to get in. So she had to meet other requirements, and then it went into you had to meet two. I think it was called the. Not sure, I can't think of the name offhand, but you had to meet two other requirements in order to get into the 8th percentile, and that was either you had the grade / test score, or you had a personal achievement, the personal achievement index, which was you had 2 application essays, you had to present your leadership qualities, extracurricular activities, service / community service, and your social economical status. Which is like if you're coming from a single parent household, or grew up in a non-English speaking household.
Right.
And then you had to include race, and what you talked about from the get-go.
Right.
Abigail, she didn't meet that requirement, But what was interesting was they gave her an opportunity to still attend the University of Texas during her sophomore year. If she went to a school within Texas and I think it was maintained a 3.5 GPA, she still can come into University of Texas during her sophomore year.
That's interesting. But she chose to go to what, LSU, Louisiana
Louisiana,
State. Yep,
another
State
Louisiana
University.
State
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep.
But it's kind of like you still if you wanted to maintain the legacy of your father and your sister to attend the University of Texas, you still had that opportunity afforded to you during your sophomore year.
That's some pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, I didn't know the second piece either.
And that was her main reason. Like, oh, I want to attend because of the legacy of my father.
Well, no, I know that, but I meant the whole. Had she stayed in the state of Texas and achieved a 3.5 GPA, she still could have gotten into the University of Texas.
Yeah.
So this has absolutely, in my opinion, this has absolutely nothing to do with affirmative action.
No, it doesn't. And like I mean, it has nothing to do with affirmative action. It seems to be on. I should have been accepted, and y'all did the wrong thing. I mean,
exactly.
And when you suing them, you want $100, your $100 back.
Yeah, that's it. It clearly states it's a non-refundable fee when you.
And you got to read the bottom line. You're not getting that money back. Point blank. Period. Not coming back in your hand. So the fact of it is, you telling me it's basically my privilege to attend your university because of my legacy to your university, and it has to be somewhat on. I don't want to say race, but it's like I'm afforded this privilege, no matter what, and it has nothing to do with, like you said, affirmative action. You didn't meet the requirements. You could have still attended the University of Texas. You chose not to.
Yeah, just to add a little bit of information to that. When I was reading the Huffington Post, and they showed or they talked about some of the students that got in that may not have had as high of test scores or grades. There were 47 students that were accepted into the University of Texas that year that had lower grades, standardized test scores, and of the 47, 42 were white. Right, so only 5 students were let into the school that year were Black or Latino.
Right.
So that just goes even further into this whole affirmative action issue, and the bigger one that we haven't even touched on yet is the fact that the biggest benefits of affirmative action are females. So the fact that she's blaming a program, quote unquote, if you will, that does everything in its power to benefit her to get into schools like that. Not saying that it pushes undeserving students or whatnot, but a program that benefits her. Why she's trying to blame that as to why she didn't get in is kind of amazing. It's almost as if because since she would qualify for affirmative action, it's very similar to if a Black person sued for not getting in because of affirmative action. Maybe not exactly a 1-to-1 ratio, but it is very similar because she does benefit from it.
And remember I told you it was a 3.5?
Yep.
If she maintained the 3.5, it's a 3.2 actually.
3.2? Oh my!
She earned a 3.2 GPA at another local Texas university her freshman year. She still would be afforded the opportunity.
Are you serious?
Texas, her sophomore year.
Do you know why that is? That seems low. If she went to I
don't know. Maybe it's like an academic probation to a certain degree.
That may be true. So if she went, could she have gone to a 2-year college then?
See, that I don't know. But I'm assuming it is a 2-year college. It didn't specify.
Okay, she may have. Well, it may be 2 or 4 since she's transferring. All they really care about is the credits and the classes that you're taking. I'm guessing so. So that's fine. I did also see that, just to point out that she also blamed her current job because she said she would have got a better job had she gone to the University of Texas. Which,
she would have had a better network of people, right?
Which there's no way to prove that. There is.
And Jamie, check this out. If you went to University of Texas and I went to LSU, right?
Right.
I can still gain that University of Texas network if I really wanted to. You
Nah.
have so check this out. I'm saying that the only way I'm saying this how you have social media websites where you can connect with these people from different schools. If you want to travel and you want to get that network, try to get into one of their you from that area. So in the summertime, why not try to get into a summer school opportunity at the University of Texas and try
Oh,
to
right. Well, we've already,
gain
yeah,
network
that's
with
true.
them.
But we've already established the fact that she didn't want to do it for whatever reason. She didn't
So
want
what's the
to
point of the lawsuit? What's like
because she
what's the
felt
point? What's the point?
because she felt that if she means so okay. So let's take
You
a step.
can't even
Remember,
explain it. It's
she
kind of hard to explain.
she was explaining that she was that's that's funny. She was approached by someone to sue the University of Texas. All right.
That's been doing this stuff for
Yep,
years.
yep. So this wasn't her idea. So,
Right.
so let's start there.
Okay.
But even with that, like I think Abigail Fisher just truly believed that she deserved to go to the University of Texas, and I do believe it had more to do. It was deeper than I have a 3.5, 5.9, I think it was. I think
Right.
whoever she was talking to, in some ways, manipulated her into this situation because I mean I can see if this if Abigail Fisher had a 3.9, right, and
Mm-hmm.
she just beasted out on her SATs, I'm 100% sure she could have gotten into the University of Texas.
Definitely.
Like like this, it's not like it's not like, no offense, but it's not like her grades were up to par in order to get into that school. There are thousands of people that year and each year who want to go to the University of Texas with similar grades who don't get in.
True.
And her
And no,
source,
another thing too. You say that when you said that a tons of people wanted to get into the University of Texas. Check this out. That year, the University of Texas turn down rate was higher than Harvard University.
yeah, wow. I heard it
What?
was a competitive year. Well, so there's a lot to go with that. Well, no, there's a lot to go with that because University of Texas. I mean, it's in Texas, so they're just gonna have that whole Texas funnel. And
Mm-hmm.
since 10% go, they're gonna that top 10% program. That's definitely gonna help out as well. Okay, so let's segue a little bit to affirmative action itself. How do you feel about that? Even though I do think we've come to the conclusion that this specific situation wasn't really about affirmative action, right? Because her grades just didn't match. So affirmative action isn't why she didn't get in. But what is your overall thoughts on affirmative action itself when it comes to helping students get into college?
I definitely, in this case, University of Texas, if you accept the top 10% of the class of the top graduating class from your senior year, then a lot of those students are going to be non-minorities. A lot of them.
Yeah,
So
statistically, right, right,
I mean,
right.
so affirmative action in a lot of cases is needed to diversify the university. Now I'm saying you shouldn't be able to attend a university solely based off your race.
Yeah, right. You gotta
Now
have
that's the
the
problem.
grades, right?
That's
Otherwise you won't graduate. That's
exactly. I mean, it's pointless of me taking your money because you're not gonna stay there for 4 years.
University of I'm not just University of Texas, but I'm
I mean,
pretty sure
tons of
colleges.
universities, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Colleges in general.
yeah.
But it is needed because it gives a person the opportunity, a non-white person, the opportunity to attend a university if they didn't have the chance. Because usually, I'm saying this, a non-minority may not have the same network as a white person.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
well,
They have an opportunity. They have an opportunity based off their grades, and based off what they can bring to the university in regards to the diversity type to attend it. So it is needed in certain circumstances because you may get in because you know somebody. You know John Brown. John Brown gonna put Jamie in. I know. I have no idea who John Brown is. I know nobody in the staff office or who's a faculty member of the university. So give me a fighting chance to get into this university.
Well,
You've been awarded this right or this opportunity for over hundreds of years. Me, on the other hand, I just got this opportunity 40 years ago. So,
but what about we can also, but that's that goes against the whole. What about whites who haven't been awarded the privilege to go to college because they're from a lower class family?
that's a problem.
Is there should there be some type of affirmative action, if you will, for them, for white males who may be the first that's going to college?
But you said, but the key thing you said, they didn't have the grades,
Well,
correct? They didn't have the grades or test scores, right?
right, but so what if there's a white guy, for example, and he has a 3.7, right? 3.6, we'll say 3.6, right?
That's above average.
And then
Off that 3.6.
yeah. But I'm saying
That's above average.
right. But yeah, that's what Abigail Fisher had. She had like a 3.59. But so white guy has like a 3.65, whatever. And there's a black guy who has a 3.3, and the white guy, he's from a lower class family and whatnot. And the black guy, he is from he's from an upper class family. What or how can affirmative action benefit the black person who statistically has a better chance of succeeding just in life versus the white guy who has a higher GPA? I mean, I definitely think that's something that currently we don't have a solution for, and right now does cause a lot of issues, if you will, because I think that's the biggest reasoning, or the biggest, I guess, debate that we have going on right now when it comes to things like that, because people want things to be fair.
Free, and they have to be fair.
Right, but they want, so for example, they want to know that if the white guy has a 3.5 and the black or Latino has a 3.45, the white guy should get in every time, no matter what. The counter argument to that is there's a lot of social economic things into play that aren't accounted for in that 3.45 versus that 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then what makes it even more complicated is the white guy's 3.5 could actually be earned in a worse situation than the black guy who got 3.45. So there's a lot.
So it's worse the situation how? Like
like for example, the white guy who has a 3.5 could be from a lower class family, and then the black guy who has a 3.45 could be from an upper class family.
But
the biggest benefits of affirmative action, it's already been proven, are middle and upper class blacks and Latinos.
But let me say this. Let's talk about. I'm still going to piggyback off the University of Texas, right?
Right.
They have the Personal Achievement Index. That is weighted. That the white kid who grew up in a single parent home, correct? He was a single parent home, right?
Right. We'll say that. Yeah,
that's weighted in that opportunity to attend that university.
Well, now the question becomes:
who's to say that's not weighted in all universities? I mean, every university.
It probably is. That's actually a really great point. I wonder if there's some type of like ranking system, right? Like, all right, so number one, we look at is your grades and test scores. Then number two, we look at your socioeconomic status. Then number three, we look at, I don't know, if you can speak a second language, something. And then number four is race. Like, I wonder if if there's a hierarchy to it when colleges are looking at applicants.
Now, I think it should be, right?
I mean, it should definitely. I completely agree. I mean, the first thing you should be looking at is a person's grades and test scores, which again, this is why Abigail Fisher didn't get in, because they just weren't up to par. There's a couple other things that they do, like for example, they also rank the high school that you're coming out of. So for example, do you go to like a top tier high school or do you go to a lower tier high school? So they also play with those numbers when they're looking at your GPA as well, which I'm not sure exactly what type of tiered high school Abigail Fisher went to. But, they do take that into account as well. But, just kind of wrapping up on this in terms of, because we could talk about this all day, but unfortunately we can't. I do think when it comes to affirmative action, it's one of those, as of right now, today, when it comes to colleges, it is definitely necessary. A lot of people think that affirmative action is discrimination 101, but it's not. Affirmative action, when it was created, the reason it was instituted in these colleges and universities is because take 10 schools, for example, and 3 of them were in urban, quote unquote, areas. In the past, what colleges would do is they would only look at the 7 schools and completely ignore the 3 schools that were in, the urban areas. So what affirmative action allows is for schools, or mandates, is for schools to take a look at everyone's application, and see who matches, and give credence to everyone, again, when they're applying to that university and college, and then accepting from there. So it creates a bigger pool, which I'm always in favor of creating a bigger pool, and so that way you can identify exactly who matches your requirements to more people. Just plain and simple, whether they be white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever.
We can't keep saying affirmative action gives opportunity for university or a job or whatever to play the race card. Because if that's the case, like we talked about, affirmative action benefits a large majority of white women more than anything.
Yep, statistically, right?
Statistically, you know what I mean? So we can't keep saying, "Oh, it's the race card, unfairly playing the race card." It's not unfairly playing the race card. It's giving a person the opportunity to attend a college that they may not have been an opportunity to. Given that opportunity from the get go. It's not unfairly playing a race card, not at all.
Yeah, especially
I totally disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially when you consider the fact that colleges like University of Texas also take a look at your socioeconomic status. So they really do a really well-versed way of taking a look at the complete application of a student as best they can in today's day and age. So, kudos to them, and yeah. So that's our thoughts on the Fisher v. University of Texas Supreme Court case. So let's go ahead and let's move on to another topic.